In today's tutorial, we're going to work on the Sugar Pop Babies Afghan, and this is a large granny square, and unlike the other one that we just did with the Sugar and Shine, this one has a center burst to it. So a lot of people, when we look at the crochet, is that this here is a traditional granny square. You can see that it's a square right from the start, where this one here has more of a rounded start, and I'm going to show you how to be able to create the rounded effect when doing this Sugar Pop Afghan. I'm using the Bernat's Baby Coordinate yarn today. You can just change off colors to whatever suits the sex of your baby, and I find that the baby coordinates, like you can see here in the white and the red, white and the pink, that it has a little bit of a shimmer to it, so it provides a really nice elegant look to it. And then I've even softened it even more with the Bernat satin in between. So let me show you how to do the Sugar Pop Afghan. If it were me and it was the Sugar Pop Afghan and I knew the sex of the baby, I would make the center pop to be the actual sex of the baby. So if you knew it was a boy or a girl, I would also make it a solid color to be very effective to appear like a circle versus doing a traditional where it doesn't really appear like a circle in the beginning. So that's your call on what you need to do. And now let's get started. So let's create a slip knot. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter or a size G crochet hook. And I've already gone through my yarn, create a slip knot, and let's put that on. So let's chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now I want you to slip in your hook to the very starting stitch. Okay, starting chain there, and grabbing the new material and pulling it through and through to create a ring, just like you see. So this is kind of an interesting thing about this one, is that it's actually really quite simple. So let's chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we need a total of 16. That counts as 1. So we need to put in 15 double crochet into the center of this ring. So grabbing the material, going into the center, and we want to do that 15 times. So we just want to double crochet ourselves in there. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So you'll notice that not all the ring has been absorbed up. That's just because of my tension and the purposely way that I did it. So now let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to count one more time. There should actually be 16. So I'm counting that center, or that starting chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now there was only 15, and that included the starting chain, so I've got to put in one more. You really have to watch the count on the very first revolution like you see here. And now I want to slip stitch it, so I'm just going to come in to the top of the starting chain that we did and just pull through and through. And you will notice that it pulled everything together, like so. To start, we want to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what we need to do now is come into the very next one on the round for a double crochet, okay, and chain 1. So the reason why we chained up 4 to begin with is that we need it to sit out just like you see here. I know that it won't look like that when you do it, but that's our point. And so we double crochet, we chain 1, and then we go into the very next one for a double crochet and chain 1. Next one and chain 1. And we do that all the way around. So double crochet in, chain 1, go into the next one. And you will end up with a total, if you've done it right, of 16. Okay, if you do not end up with 16, something is definitely wrong. And we need that because this is what is creating the burst look in the middle. Okay, so now let's count together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So in order to bring these two together, you have to chain one first and then slip stitch to the top. Okay. And what we need to do at this point is cast off, or fasten off I should say. I'm going to get emails on that. People are going to say, you're not saying it right. So I'm just going to trim, and just like we did with normal granny squares, we're just going to pull the material out, and I'm just going to wrap it around this section, and I'm just going to wrap it around the next section, and I'm just going to actually go right into a stitch, so you can see, and grabbing the material and pulling it through. And the next round is really going to trap this straggler into position, so you don't have to really worry about it too much. So I'm going to trim that just for visual to make it easier for you to follow. And now you're going to grab your next one. So I'm just going to, for the sake of it, I'm just going to grab my pink, create a slip knot. Okay, we just put in our slip knot there, and we just grab this up. Okay, and we can just choose any one of the rounds. I don't usually choose where I started and stopped, so I just choose somewhere else. Okay, so I just slip in my crochet hook right in between the gap. Okay, grab the straggler and the yarn, throw it over and pull through, so you end up with two on there. Grabbing both again, pull it through both loops. Okay, and now let's chain two, 1 and 2. And so what I want to do is 2 more double crochets in the same hole. Okay, and now we're going to chain 1, and we want to skip over 2 posts that you see underneath, so we want to come over to here, so we're going to skip this gap, go into the second. Okay, and we're going to put 3 double crochets in that spot. We want to chain 1, and we want to skip over 2 more posts, so we're going to go not this gap but the next, and this will be your first corner. Okay, so the corner configuration is 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet, all into the same hole. So 2 chain and 3 double crochet into the same spot. So essentially what you're doing is you're turning a round granny square into a square on this rotation. Okay, chaining 1, we're going to now skip over the next gap, skip over 2 posts, and 3 double crochets in, and this is the middle of the next side of your granny square. Chain 1, and so we want to skip over 2 posts going into the second. So do you understand, if you didn't have 16 of these posts, then you're going to be ending up with one or two extra, or not enough. So it's a corner, so it's the 3 2 3 configuration, 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet. Okay, chaining 1, and 3 double crochets right into the middle, chaining 1, and we're now going to skip over this gap underneath, go to the second one over, and this will be the next corner. So your 3 2 3 configuration. I don't know if anybody else ever calls it that. That's what I call it, just for easy reference, is to say on camera, but it's also easy to remember as well. Just got to do your 3 2 3, girls and boys. So chaining 1, we're now in the gap again. So you should end up looking like this so far. We're going to skip over this one, going to go to the next. There's a tutorial online, I think it's in my collection as well. It's called the Sunflower Afghan, and this centerpiece is actually part of the Afghan, of the sunflower itself, and it's actually really quite amazing. So we're chaining 1, and then we come into the last corner, which is where we started. So we're just finishing off this corner. So we started in that corner, we're just going to finish it off with 3 double crochet, chaining 2, 1 and 2, and then coming into the top of the chain where you started, pull through and through. And I'm not going to change my colors at this point, but you can if you wish. Just do it the same way that you would do it normally. But I'm going to do one more round of the pink before I change colors over to the white. So to start the next round, we just chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we come back into the corner right underneath for 2 double crochets. Okay, so that chaining of 3 counted as the one part of the corner, and now we chain 1, and now there's going to be 2 gaps in the runway, so the space in between the corners and then the corner. Okay, so every time we're in the runway, we chain 1 and we just 3 double crochets into each one of the gaps. Okay, so 3 double crochets, so we're done that one, so we chain 1, come into the next gap. So you can understand why this goes super fast is that you're not really looking for stitches, you're just looking for gaps. And your hook can be a lot more lazier and more free-flowing by looking for a larger hole instead of a stitch. So we chain 1, we're now into the corner, so we're going to do our 3 2 3 configuration, 3 double crochet, 2 chain, 3 double crochet. So I can see in the monitor how this is looking, but you know, in person, that these Afghans are the colors that you see here are so subtle, and they're not very pronounced. They're very baby oriented, very gorgeous, but I'm not sure on the camera that they'll actually be very vibrant looking, which they're really not. They're just so subtle and just so sweet. Okay, so we're in the gap in between, chain 1, now we're in the next corner. So you do your 3 2 3. Chain 2, it's the final. So every time you revolve around this, you can see that your Afghan would get bigger and bigger. So one full revolution not only is growing on just one direction, it's growing in all 4, which makes it a very fast project when you think about it. Okay, we're now on the next corner. So I'm taking you to the next, to the final corner, so where we're going to change color. To review that again, if you don't know how to do that, 1 and 2. Okay, and we're now in the runway in between, so I'm not really talking my way through it. Maybe I'm going to get in trouble for that too. One can never know. Chaining 1, and this is the final corner. Okay, you can see that the other piece is already there, and we're going to just do 3 double crochet again in there, and we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch. So 1 and 2, and we're going to slip stitch in, pull through and through. And now let's cast off this color. So we just trim it. So we just pull out just like that, and we just slip in our hook, grab the material, pull it through twice, so just throw it back over, pull it through, and that just helps it to secure extra when you're going to put it on your next layer. So I'm just doing a weaved finished to it. I'm trimming. And now I'm going to grab my final color, which will be the white. Let's create a slip knot. Just like that. And we'll put it onto the hook. You'll also notice here that, like before, is that I never like to start and stop at the same spot, because I do think it becomes obvious. So this is where I've stopped before. So I'm going to move to the corner that is before it. Okay, slip in the hook to the corner. Grab both pieces of material, throwing it over, pulling it through so you have 2 loops. Okay, grab the 2 materials again, pulling it through. And now just grab the material that is just working to the yarn ball, for chaining of 2. Okay, and so now we're going to come back down into the corner for 2 more double crochet, because the chaining 3 acts as one of them. So you get a total of 3 when you say it that way. So here's the leftover piece. I'm just going to trim that. Okay, and now the runway has more gaps than it did before because we've obviously gotten bigger. So we chain 1 in between each one of the runway pieces. So we just put in 3 double crochet again. And so on this one here, I'm changing colors every 2 lines. You can do it more, you can do it less, you can do a solid color one if you want. I've done that before as well. The creativity is up to you. You can change the colors as many times as you want to. Use as many different yarns to make it almost like a scrap granny gan as well. The measurements for a baby's afghan is about 38 to 40 inches, so you just have to stop whenever you feel like you're getting close to it. Remember, if you're doing this for crafting for a cure, preemie size afghans are much smaller than that. They can be up to like 30 inches, if not a little bit less as well. So we're going on the corner again. It's their 3-2-3 configuration. One and 2. Okay, so this is the corner, so it's like it is before. And I'm just going to do 2 revolutions of this white and then change my color back to blue and just keep on going. So this is how you do the sugar pop afghan.